Hi, welcome back. This week's tip is all about lowering transition pushback that you get from your kids when it's time to go do something fun. I know it seems weird, but I think as parents, we probably all deal with a time or two when our kids seem like they don't even want to go do the thing that they supposedly love to do. For my kids, this can be sports or other fun activities that they have signed up for. And it's an interesting moment when you are sitting there as the parent waiting to take them somewhere and you remind them that they have to go. And instead of being excited, they're like, oh, and they throw a tantrum or get really upset. Most likely, this has nothing to do with them not enjoying the activity that they have signed up for and has a lot more to do with the frustration of having to deal with multiple transitions. So, today's tip is about how to lower that, and it does require a little bit of work on your part in order to make it happen. So, the first thing that I suggest is just like most of us adults, and even your teenagers likely have a smartphone with a calendar app, and we reference that calendar throughout our days. Our kids, younger kids, also need to be able to have a reference point to see what is happening each day. And so I do highly recommend that somewhere in a living space or a common area in your home that you create a visual calendar for everyone to see. You could print this off on your computer. You could, at our house, we have a whiteboard and it's color coded. So each person has their own color. So if it's an activity that everyone's doing, then that's a certain color, but otherwise each individual has their own color. And then it shows what time every activity is each day. And it's a really good reference point for people to be able to look and say, okay, I have this activity at this time. And so that gives them a little bit of a heads up. So that's the first recommendation. The second thing is all about the way that we communicate things to our kids and also set them up for success and having as much time to prepare as possible. So I really highly recommend using a time timer when you come home from school in the afternoons or when you get home and there's less than an hour's amount of time between the current moment and when the next transition is happening. I recommend setting that time timer, which is a visual timer to represent time to your child, so that they can see how much time is left. Not only will this help them have a grasp of what's left, but it also gives them a way to improve their sense of time in general. By using a time timer, it gives a visual representation of what time is, and they also see it getting smaller as they get closer to that activity. And so if you mention what time it is or how much time there is when you set it, it helps your child start to get a feel for how long 15 minutes is or how long 30 minutes is by setting that timer and explaining how much time they have. So that's the next piece. The third piece is about the way you help your older kids, teenagers, or anyone with homework learn to manage that on their own. It's so tempting to just tell our kids what to do because we need it to get done. We have limited amount of time that we're working with, and so oftentimes we do the mental work for our kids by telling them what to do. In reality, this is actually not helping them build executive functioning. Executive functioning helps us plan and know what we need to do next and organize our tasks. When we tell our kids what to do, we're not giving them the chance to organize and plan their own tasks. And so, what I challenge you to do as parents, which yes, will mean that you're allowing your child to fail on occasion because they won't get it right the first time, but rather than telling them what to do, maybe just make a statement about what you wonder they will do with their time. So what that could look like is instead of go do your homework, you only have 30 minutes until practice and you need to get as much done as you can. Instead, it could look like, I wonder how much homework you could get done with the 30 minutes before you go to baseball. Or I noticed that there was a lot of homework that you brought home today. I wonder when you'll do it. Instead of telling your child when to do their work or sharing your expectations in a way that tells them when they have to do things, just share your statement and allow your child to plan when they're going to do their work. Now, it definitely could backfire and you could have a kid who fails, but in my opinion, that's actually not a backfire. Your kid needs to have the opportunity to fail now while the opportunities for the consequence are smaller rather than when they are already an adult or moved out of your house and then they start making a lot of mistakes and having a lot of failures because they don't have you there helping to do their executive functioning for them. So I hope this is a helpful tip. Good luck and have a great week.